Need to know your HIV status? You don't have to do it alone. Miracle of Love Hope and Help Center and Orange County Health Services Department are dedicated to helping everyone access resources and testing. Get judgment-free help no matter your sexuality or HIV status. Visit ocfl.net/HIV prevention for free and confidential help. Prevention starts with information. Ad supported by SAMHSA of HHS. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of nor endorsement by SAMHSA, HHS, or Orange County government. Visit ocfl.net/HIV prevention.
There's no way to prepare for the impact an accident makes on your life. That's why we've spent 40 years getting ready for that moment when you need compassion and immediate action. The right doctors, investigators, our team of experienced attorneys, and your free consultation is already in place. So if you've been hurt, remember, the FARA safety net is right here to catch you. All you have to do is call FARA and FARA. It's what we built. Orlando.
Welcome to Sergeant War Dog TV.
Let's go to war, baby. Let's go to war, baby. That's what I'm talking about, goddammit. Let's go to war, baby. Let's go to war.
Steve Jeans, that's what it is. All I know is war. All I know is shoot. All I want is more, but I got some things to do. I'm a dog of war. Hell's what I've been through. I'm a dog of war. I did it all for you. I'm a soldier, I'm a warrior. Got an emblem on my cover. And ask me what I did for ya. I put the trash deep down under. Yeah, I'm a dog of war. Hell's what I've been through. I'm a dog of war. I did it all for you, yeah.
Sergeant War Dog TV is outdoors TV with swag. Now let's go to war. Hey, if I haven't told you already, Sergeant War Dog TV has an app. It's now out on both the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. Download it today. Find directions to Camp Doghouse. Hear all of our podcasts. The entire Sergeant's playlist. View pictures and get directions straight to Camp Doghouse, all from the app. Download today, Sergeant War Dog, baby, on the War Dog Trail. Salute. Be sure to follow Sergeant War Dog TV on social media. You can find Sergeant War Dog TV on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Vimeo, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Catch us online. Subscribe, like, and follow us. Salute. Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of the War Dog Trail podcast. In this episode, I will be doing two things. We will be discussing updates and updates surrounding Sergeant War Dog TV, surrounding the War Dog Trail podcast, surrounding upcoming trips and plans. And then for a short time, we're going to discuss war veterans and murder. Because we all know, once you've, number one, been trained to kill, number two, gone to war and had to exercise that training, you are an ideal candidate for a possible murder charge. Now, I don't take that lightly, and I don't say that in any kind of condescending way. Just face the facts and reality from my point of view here, as a war veteran, as a grunt, an infantry marine with 3 tours in Iraq, including the first day of the war. Yes, I was trained to be violent. I used that training and actually was violent during the war. And as a result, myself and millions of other veterans must now be forever careful that we don't let our anger or our training come out at the wrong times. Because we do know that we now have consequences for our actions, right? All right, so let's start with these updates, man. He's up, bringing you back up to date. I have not done a podcast in 8 months. I've not made an episode in 8 months, so this episode is bringing things back around full circle, helping me to get back on track with trying to help war veterans with, surviving, adjusting, dealing with the changes that your mind and body have gone through because of our service. To begin with, all right, there is what's known as a military influencer. All right, if you are a veteran or you're active duty and you happen to have any social media site, there is what's known as the Military Influencer Conference coming up in 2 months in Las Vegas. November 8th to the 10th will be this year's 2023 Military Influencer Conference. Now, to find out more information about that conference, you can visit militaryinfluencer.com and get information, buy your ticket, and hopefully I'll see you there, man, because from what I understand, this 3-day event that's been going on for the past 3 or 4 years now is like the place to be if you yourself consider yourself to be an influencer in the social media realm. If you consider yourself to be a military influencer, I'll say, which is, most veterans and active duty military personnel. In addition to me going to the Military Influencer Conference in November, I also plan on making a second trip to Vegas in January of 2024 for the SHOT Show. All right. Now, unlike the Military Influencer Conference, the SHOT Show is strictly for the outdoors, hunting, and weapons, man. Guns on deck, definitely, big time. I'm gonna be heading towards the SHOT Show. I've wanted to go now for a couple years. Never really saw it as my cup of tea initially, but now I do see that it is strategically important in terms of networking and just sheer presence at this event. If you consider yourself to be in the outdoors TV industry in any fashion, this is where you want to be. So I will be, as I said, the Military Influencer Conference in November, and then right back around in January, I'll be returning to Vegas for a second time to attend the SHOT Show for 2024. Now, on top of that, I'm trying to make strides in the outdoors TV production world. So I do plan on attending some courses offered by Film the Hunt. All right, it's in Ohio, an organization in Ohio. Where they will teach you for 4 days outdoors, how to be an outdoors cameraman. And then if you'd like to, you can come back the following month and you can attend their video editing course for another 3-4 days in Ohio. And I do plan on attending both of those events so that I can gain the valuable knowledge needed to become a successful outdoors TV host. All right. I'd like to make Sergeant War Dog TV official, real, more than just the YouTube level or social media level or web level. If possible, I would like to have my own show on an actual network that airs 1 to 2 times a week. I think it can be done. I think with the right amount of, preparation, I can accomplish this mission. So, do plan on attending the courses provided by Film the Hunt in Ohio with Mr. Tom Petrie. He is the individual that I happen to speak to from this course, who laid everything out for me as far as what will be offered, what will be taught, and how you can network and gain insights into the outdoors TV world. Because that is my major and primary, goal at this point. So that's it. That's just about where we are in terms of updates, upgrades on the situation here with Sergeant War Dog TV. So as I said, this is now August. In November, I will be attending the Military Influencer Conference. In January, I will be attending the SHOT Show 2024 in Vegas. And then in June and July, I will be attending the courses offered by Film the Hunt, in which I can finally do what I need to do to become an official TV, outdoors TV producer and content creator, which I am already, but I would like a lot more professionalism, as well as the networking and contacts, the insights into the outdoors TV industry. And you can do this as well, which is why I am broadcasting these opportunities, so that others are informed of them as well and can make their proper preparations. All right. Now, I said I was going to discuss war veterans and murder in this episode 38. All right. Now, just as a side note here, since it crossed my mind, I have not been off grid to my property in Florida now in a year and a half, over a year and a half. So now that I have moved back to Florida recently this month, I do plan on going back out to my property, out to the land, and resuming the activities that you saw during the first 3 or 4 years of Sergeant War Dog TV, where I'm out there off grid with my buddy Mark, and we shoot, hunt, camp, fish, whatever we can get our hands on. All right. And we do it all in the city of Hollow, Florida, at a location called Suburban Estates, which is a private landowners association that shares about 10,000 acres, man. It's the ideal place to be. It has trails for ATV riding and UTV riding that are nationally ranked. And there are wild hogs there to satisfy my insatiable thirst for living like a Marine grunt again, and being able to use my rifle, night vision, and thermal vision as I did during the war on a regular basis. Now, as I discuss war veterans and murder, I'm going to be open and honest with you right off the bat. I do have 2 Marine buddies that are serving life in prison in the state of California for murder. All right, for murders that they committed while they were still active duty Marines, just after we finished our first tour in Iraq back in 2003. These individuals killed 2 other Marines. Yeah, so the 2 Marines that are in prison killed 2 other Marines over a drug deal, trying to bring marijuana from Mexico. And they killed them, set the car on fire. They recorded the entire thing. NCIS investigated it since they were active duty Marines. And they ended up, being found guilty of murder and now serving their life sentences in California. So the concept, the topic of war veterans and murder is not something that's new to me. Just as the topic of, obviously, war veterans and suicide is not new to me, as I've told you about my experiences losing buddies and brothers in that way. But it takes a very honest and open individual as a veteran to acknowledge that, yes, after you were trained to do your job and to take out the enemy, you were not only trained as the peacetime veterans are, you got to utilize that training. Matter of fact, not got to, you were required to utilize that training. That was your job. Your job was to be in there scrapping, fighting, fists, guns, knives, bats, grenades, calling planes, tanks, IEDs, you name it. If you're in the combat arms fields and you truly see action or saw action, and by combat arms, I'm talking about infantry, special ops, anyone that performs SWAT, mount, CQB type ops on individuals' homes, houses. You've been there, you've kicked in people's doors, you've slept in their houses, you've slept on their rooftops. This is who I'm talking to, all right? All of us need to be careful. And this is a serious thing that even I worry about on my own, all right? All of us have to be constantly aware of our states of mind, our training, our anger, and how we resolve things. Because I won't lie to you, it's a blessing that I've made it to make it to the age 39 as I have after joining the Marines at 18. Because outside of my Marine Corps service, I did have a very, very hard time struggling with PTSD and TBI and trying to figure out what was going on with me, my life, my body, my mind. Just as millions of other veterans do, man. We got an entire generation of men and women that know nothing but service and war in the Middle East. Now, obviously, being trained, we've already crossed that threshold of being able to take a life. That's clear as day. We have already crossed the threshold on knowing that we can and will engage the enemy, whether that be with guns, knives, bats, or your hands. The violence can be overwhelming at some points, especially if you're in my shoes. 3 tours during in the war as a grunt, everything you did, live, saw revolved around violence, revolved around some anger and hatred, revolved around some cold-heartedness, some callousness. And that's what a lot of us struggle with after we get out and after we finish our service. You spend so much time training to be violent, but we don't spend enough time on learning the proper ways to control or quell certain urges we might get for continued violence after we're finished. All right? And yeah, I know we all understand the concept of gung-ho and being, chest pumped out, just ready to get after, man, ready to get some. That's what we do. That's what we know. That's the way we live. That's the way we were taught. The problem is, after you finish your service and you step back into the civilian world, our livelihoods, our jobs, our ways of being as combat arms operators, it becomes unacceptable. All right? You're living in a peace zone. You're living during peace times. You're not expected, or you're not in any way allowed to do the things that you would do. You're not in any way allowed to do the things that you have done before in the past to other individuals without there being consequences now, like prison or jail time. Right? There are millions of veterans that have found some sort of trouble with the law because of our anger, our mindset, our fucking attitudes, and because we have been trained how to properly fight and hurt people. Now, I am very much against any veteran losing their freedom because they happen to make a split-second decision that felt good in terms of, hey, being able to be violent again, knock somebody out, hurt them, get that stuff out of your system, take a few swings, that sort of thing. But we have to remember that even on a hand-to-hand level, we are deadly. We are some of the most deadly and dangerous individuals on the face of the planet. We have already gone and done and fought and lived on a level that others could never comprehend. Sure, plenty of people talk about all that macho shit. Talk about how much they think they would like to fight. Talk about how much, of what they think they would do if they were in a war, or if they had to deal with people trying to kill them. But those are your talkers. And those of us who actually do it are your walkers. And that's the ones that count. Your walkers. Bullshit talks, money walks. I believe we all have to be extremely careful with our training, our anger, and threats from civilians. All right, most civilians don't understand that when they say something to others about, hey, I'll kill you, or I'll hurt you, or any of that stuff. They don't know what that means to someone like us as true veterans who've had attempts on our lives for years. Civilians don't know that, just by saying some of the things they say, or making some of the verbal threats that they make, or some of the things they do, that they can really seriously get fucked up for trying to cross individuals like us. Some of them take it for granted. Some think it's a joke. Some think, hey, everyone in the military did soft stuff. No one's real. No one knows fighting and violence. Or you get into the whole thing about judging and looks and stereotypes. People think, oh, because you're a little smaller, hey, you don't know how to effectively fight and kill. People think because, you're not as big as what they pictured in a movie for a Marine to look like, that you aren't capable of doing the violence that you are capable of. And that's their loss, man. That's their loss for making such assumptions and thinking that they were prepared to go to war with actual war veterans. I simply, in this episode, want everyone to think about how sad of a story for a war hero it is to go from decorated, respected, honored, to then being ridiculed, scolded, put down, being told that you're one of the worst of the worst. And that goes for both prisons, jails, as well as psychiatric facilities and psych wards. All right. Now, you've heard me talk about the psych ward gang on many occasions, and that is just my own personal way of acknowledging my own struggles with PTSD, my own multiple hospitalizations due to PTSD and TBI. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take this quick second to let you hear the description of the psych ward gang. All right. The psych ward gang refers to acknowledging mental health in the military community. And as I'm always quick to now tell you, because I'm no longer ashamed, I have had to be hospitalized 5 separate times after my 3 tours in Iraq as an infantry Marine. And this is my own way of any and everyone in the military community to identify without shame that, hey, there is a very large global group of us, and I happen to call it the psych ward gang. It's something that resonates with me, and apparently now it's been resonating with other veterans, with our stickers, the T-shirts. Even this week, Betsy Ross on Twitter put out her own picture of her rocking the new shirt. So that is, like I said, my admission as well as my acknowledgement for the entire military community of what mental health is, and the struggles that we all deal with, and to now deal with them without shame. Fuck it. We put in work. We've been around the world and done things. Never be ashamed if you need to dial 988 for any type of mental health crisis, or to call the Veterans Crisis Line, as I've had to do twice, which actually saved my life as well. So that's where we're getting it from. Psych Ward Gang, baby. PWG. All right, so there you have it. There is the description, my personal description of the Psych Ward Gang, what it means, what it stands for. Now, even as a mental health patient, all right, you have no passes or excuses for being allowed to be excessively violent once you are in the civilian world and have finished with your military service. It takes a major mental changeover within yourself to go from singing cadences about killing to totally utterly blocking that out of your complete psyche, vocabulary, and everything else, so that you are now a veteran in the civilian world, a war veteran in the civilian world, trying to adapt and adjust to living in peace. Because in my opinion, that's what it comes down to. We're all great at living in war again. We're all great when it comes down to chaos, moments of near anarchy and loss of loss of control, pandemonium everywhere. we have to be careful if we want to keep our freedom from psych wards, from jails, from prisons, by watching our mindsets and our anger. Now, will I tell you that I have thought about killing someone or being in a fight and taking someone out since I've finished my military service? Yes, I have. I'd be bullshitting and lie to you if I told you I hadn't. All right. The problem is there are times when I get extreme urges to want to go on operations again, to want to go on missions again, to want to challenge myself in that way again. Not so much as an adrenaline junkie, but then again, maybe it is being an adrenaline junkie, because you are looking for that, you are looking for that extra oomph, that extra excitement to get you rolling and to get you where you feel you need to be. The problem, however, is that, as I was saying earlier, once we return to the civilian world, everything that we know and were taught about, fighting, killing, taking out the enemy, hurting motherfuckers, all becomes unacceptable and illegal. So, if you do find that you want to keep your freedom, you do enjoy your life, and we got to find that happy medium in ways of, in terms of allowing you to be you, but also legally allowing you to get things out of your system. That is the reason why I turned to hunting, to be honest with you. Because hunting allows me to suit up just like I would have in country, to have my rifle, night vision, thermal vision, everything I would have used for night ops in Iraq, and then direct that on a nuisance animal like wild hogs that destroy crops, that are predators, that, attack other animals within the ecosystem. The same thing as coyotes. For those that don't know, I am an actual predator hunter. I hunt animals that are dangerous and that prey on the others. Why do I do this? Because I have recently come to realize that I am myself a predator. Yes, I am. Since becoming a Marine, a grunt, a sergeant, on the civilian side, I can be a true predator. I can be a true bully. I can truly whoop some ass if I thought about it and wanted to and tried to. The issue is, legally, I wouldn't have been in the right because I'm not supposed to do certain things anymore. And this is a struggle that I'm pretty sure others are aware of that are in the combat arms fields. We might say stuff like they weren't able to turn it off, to turn the killing off. They weren't able to flip the switch and go back to being normal. They weren't able to adapt or adjust to life in peacetime. And there are millions of us, all right? There are millions of us that deal with these things and thoughts and issues. There are millions of us as veterans that have been in prison, been in county jails, have been in psychiatric facilities and psych wards. All right? We've all been there. It can go any direction, all based on our individual behaviors, actions, and decisions. And now I don't say that any of this, in a way, any kind of way of, without acknowledging my own mistakes. All right, because I have had times when the urge inside of me to be violent and to commit violence couldn't be stopped, couldn't be ended in any way. It had to simply be lived out and, allowed to manifest itself because of who I am and because of where I was at that time in my life. But I was wrong. Okay? I have hurt individuals that are family, friends, strangers. I've had bad run-ins over the last 15 years to the point that I had to remove myself from society for a while by staying in my house because I had a time that I was really not understanding civilians and I was getting pissed off all the time. So, some of the things, like I said, some of the shit talking or threats that civilians make, thinking that they are, the toughest that there are, and not realizing that you're dealing with someone who's been fighting suicide bombers that were ready to take their lives as well as mine. When you're dealing with someone on that level of death and killing, you have to acknowledge that if they are not careful about their actions, decisions, and behaviors, they can become very violent individuals, which means they also would end up in prison, county jail, or psych wards. I'm gonna touch on this episode again. We're gonna have a part 2 when I can get things a little better organized and aligned and able to display to you, because I'm not liking the way I'm running this podcast at this moment for this episode. My thoughts are all over the place. Everything kind of feels unorganized. So I apologize to you as listeners that it's coming off this way. But we are going to revisit this in another episode. All right, we are going to revisit this topic. This has been episode 38. This is Sergeant War Dog. I appreciate you joining us for another episode of the War Dog Trail podcast. Be sure to visit the website, sergeantwardogtv.com, or follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or now X, Snapchat, LinkedIn. Hey, look for us. Look for Sergeant War Dog. Look for Sergeant War Dog TV. I'm out here trying to pass off as much knowledge, wisdom, and insight as I can from my own mistakes and struggles, so that veterans after me have some sort of guiding path on how they should proceed with the rest of their lives, so that they can be, so that we can all be positive and successful civilians, man. That's basically where it stands. I apologize for the lack of continuity in this episode, but things will get back rolling the way they should, back the way they had. Just hold on and be ready. All right, this has been episode 38 of the War Dog Trail podcast, where we discuss updates for Sergeant War Dog TV, and we lightly touched on the topic of war veterans and murder. All right, this is Sergeant War Dog. Thank you for tuning in. Salute.
There's no way to prepare for the impact an accident makes on your life. That's why we've spent 40 years getting ready for that moment when you need compassion and immediate action. The right doctors, investigators, our team of experienced attorneys, and your free consultation is already in place. So if you've been hurt, remember, the FARA safety net is right here to catch you. All you have to do is call FARA and FARA. It's what we built. Orlando.
Need to know your HIV status? You don't have to do it alone. Miracle of Love, Hope and Help Center, and Orange County Health Services Department are dedicated to helping everyone access resources and testing. Get judgment-free help, no matter your sexuality or HIV status. Visit ocfl.net/HIV prevention for free and confidential help. Prevention starts with information. Ad supported by SAMHSA of HHS. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of nor endorsement by SAMHSA, HHS, or Orange County government. Visit ocfl.net/HIV prevention.